how did you know that it was the right moment for you to take that next step? Because it can be so scary
Yeah.
to not only take a new job, but to move.
I know. I'm like you. I like comfort. It's like if things are going well, why,
Or change
move
it.
anything? Just keep everything the same. If it's working, why do that? But I think because I've always been like that in the sense of like jobs and, home, I felt like, okay, this is my time. I think I was in a much happier place in my life within myself where I felt like confident in betting on myself. You know what I mean? Like, I think maybe 2, 3 years ago, I was not willing to do that because yeah, fear is a big thing. It's scary. It's scary to move your entire life. You don't know anybody. You don't know the city. You don't know the place. You don't know if you're gonna fit in. Obviously, that's like a fear too. You want people to like you. You want to do a good job. There's just so many things that play into it. But I felt like if it was more of like now or never. I always said, Utah, this is a job, right? This is a job that you've been like wanting to pursue. It's right there. Why would I not jump on it? Not to say it wasn't scary. It was definitely scary. And I remember even leaving home. It was horrible. Like saying goodbye to my family and leaving my dogs. I had to leave my dogs behind at first.
No, that's the worst part
It
is
was
leaving the pet.
yeah, it was so, so bad. But I really think it did come down to like just confidence at that point of my life where I'm like, I'm happy. I've done the work in myself in every aspect of my life. And I feel like right now I'm in a good place to know that I can go there and do something good. And that's really what I just kind of rolled with, just out of gut instinct, like, no, you got this. Like, you're fine. It is going to be scary. And I knew that. I knew that going into it, it would be a couple of tough months because it wasn't going to be
Yeah.
easy. It's still a completely different transition. But I also knew that at the end of the day, it would be a dream job for me. And I think just keeping in mind the bigger picture kind of helped me stay focused in that regard. And now, it feels like home. It really does. So it's crazy what a little bit of time and a little bit of faith can kind of do for your career and as a person, I guess.
Was there anything that brought that confidence within you that changed? Well, I mean, I'm not sure if something in your environment changed or something in your life changed for you to have that confidence. Like, yeah, I can do this. I can take the next step in my career. I don't know if there was anything that happened to you or that you did differently to have that confidence within yourself, because sometimes it really just is a mentality change, changing out of a,
Mm.
oh, I can't do this, like blah blah blah, blah. Like, I've been putting off this podcast because I'm like, no, it's gonna fail. And then one day I was like, F this. Like,
Yeah.
if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but just try it.
Mhm.
Because what are you going to do? Get to 50 years from now and then be like, oh, like what could have been? Like, well, what
Yes.
changed in you to get that confidence?
I think it was kind of what you just said, just that mentality switch. I think despite what people think, I can be a very shy and reserved person. Like I think I'm good at putting off facade that I'm very outgoing and happily and bubbly all the time, but deep inside I'm very shy. And I think at some point I had to realize, okay, that's not going to work in this industry. Like not if
Yeah.
you want to go after what you want, right? And I think when I remember maybe what year was this? 2022. I think that that's kind of when my mentality started to shift and I started to realize, okay, you can't live like this. Like you really got to go out there and pursue what you want and not be afraid to network and put yourself out there. If someone doesn't like you, it's okay. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It's just, reality.
That's
When I
exactly how it is.
made that switch, it's the year that MLS started to hire me for things. And I think that started to build my confidence into just my own person and feeling because this industry, it's a lot. You're constantly competing with other people and like 100 people want the same job. It's just a lot and you cannot help, especially as a woman, you can't help but compare yourself to others. It's just unfortunately part of the human nature in you. And I think once you start to kind of gain that confidence, I started to break out of my shell a little bit. You network more,
Yeah.
you meet more people, you start to realize, okay, the world isn't as scary as you've played it out in your head. And I think all of that ultimately just kind of put me in a place where it's like, no, I got this. I got this. Like I can walk into a room and feel like I belong in a room because I think that's also something that I struggled with a lot. Imposter syndrome, like feeling like why
Oh,
am I here? you know?
that happens to me all the time, like, when I've gotta do some stuff where it's, like, covering soccer overall, and I'm sitting next to people who know everything about soccer, like, you could say, like, a year, and they're like, "Oh, the biggest game of this year was this," and I'm like, "I I have no idea," but it's like, "No, like, you belong, like, you wouldn't be given the opportunities if you didn't belong there," and, I mean, like, sometimes I don't wanna use the word delusional, like, being delusional, but it's like, envision yourself in that spot, like,
Yeah,
you deserve it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but don't take yourself out of the picture before, like, you've even given
exactly.
yourself the chance or the opportunity to be there. So, I love that, and I think, first of all, like, you need that confidence to take those steps to apply for that job that you think, "Oh, maybe I don't have the requirements," to then reach out to your potential boss, which I love that you did that because that was a nice extra touch.
Yeah,
Did
you
you
know?
did
I always
did he
joke.
ever
I always joke. I bothered the crap out of him, and so he had no choice but to give me an interview.
that's
But
what I
hey, it worked out. I'm here, so
Yeah, that's what I say about my job. People are like, "Oh, how'd you get with DC United?" I was like, "Oh, well, I did an internship in 2016, stayed on as game day staff for 2 more years. They saw I wasn't going anywhere, so they were like, 'All right, let's just freaking hire this girl because
might
she's
as
not leaving
well.
anywhere.'"
That's key. Just don't give them an option.
Exactly. Don't let them say no to you.
Exactly.
Show up. It's so important.